Hey there, players of all classes. I have some of Geek Tank Games storage sheets here, which I've definitely gone over in previous videos. But if you are getting Geek Tank Games tokens, it's good to have some storage sheets laying around. They are normal binder size. We'll look at these a bit later. But what I really want to talk to you about today are these tabletop tokens from Geek Tank Games. You throw them on your map. They are dry erasable. You can throw them on the map. A lot of them lay flat. Some of them have like stuff that you could potentially put in the Geek Tank Games bases, but you don't necessarily have to. You could just instead go straight for laying them flat, putting them on the map. They are meant to be used with a 1-inch grid. They are all double-sided, which is cool. So you get a little bit of variety in them, but there are good ways to fill out your map, add some variety to it, give a little bit of life to it, if you don't have the space for or want to buy a whole ton of minis. You get a huge amount of gear and stuff just out of this alone. So I've got 4 different sets of tabletop tokens here. We're going to go through them in alphabetical order because that's just who I am as a person. We're going to start with the camping set. So all the Geek Tank Games packages, if you've seen me do reviews or unboxings and stuff on them before, they have this little slit here which tells you that you should be cutting them, but you don't actually have to cut them. They're wide open. So you could just pop the seal this way. Super easy to unbox that way. And then you pull out the sheets of minis and tokens, which for some reason are always incredibly difficult to get out the first try because the bag is a little bit fatter than like the Ziploc line, like the poly bag that all the sheets come in. Incredibly difficult to just pull out, which is crazy. Someone's going to take what I just said out of context. I know it. I'm trying to figure out where the camera is. I'm trying something differently angled because I think this will actually be easier for the rest of you. So this is the camping set. It comes with trees so you can fill out your campsite. The material isn't cardboard. It's like some kind of plastic. So once you pop them out, you can see that these come on 1-inch grid just to show you like where they fit. You can lay them wherever you want. You don't... Listen, I'm going to tell you something about physical DMing that I didn't really get at the beginning, which sounds stupid, but I didn't get that you could just lay your stuff wherever. I thought it had to fit into one of the cubes. It doesn't have to. You can lay your stuff wherever. Make your world feel lived in. Then you've got some rocks and logs and maybe a little cauldron that's full. You guys are roasting a pig that you caught, a boar. And the other side, some more rocks. Most of these are very similar on both sides, but a lot of the Geek Tank Games stuff is double-sided. A lot of the camping set appears to be the same on both sides, and that's fine. You get 4 sheets of stuff. You've got your own little boats. I may be using this very soon. Hadn't thought of that. New ways to put the sleeping bags out, which I'm okay with. It would appear that it would have been cooler if like one side had gear in it and one side was empty, but these look the same on both sides. And then you've got a bunch more tents, some sleeping bags, and that is the camping set. They're actually, the pages are labeled, so technically this is one. I should have started with this one, but I didn't. Next up, we're going to check out the Castle Siege set. I thought my players were going to go through a siege pretty early on, and they actually haven't yet, so I'm geared up if they do. This is the Castle Siege set. We're going to get a lot of siege weaponry in here, and I'm all for it. Oh, these ones don't have words on them, so doesn't matter what order we do them in. First one looks like catapult, and then the bottom, oh, this could be a siege tower, so you could do multiple layers if you add in something else to make it multi-tiered. Though these have wheels. Seems like a siege tower. I'm assuming this is supposed to be multiple layers. These are also not double-sided, which is unusual. Have a huge ballista, a humongous cannon, and then some boxes, or you can count them as the layers in your siege tower if you wanted to. You have your siege ladders. Listen, it's always good to have ladders on hand, and especially if you have 3D environments, you can also lean these against them and use them as ladders as well. They'll work just fine that way too. Some smaller cannons. These are the same on both sides. Material's also the same here, so it's not actually cardboard. This looks like it could be, oh, it's a battering ram. That took me a second. Smaller ballistae and cannons. Slightly smaller than the last ones. And then another really, really, really big cannon. And they're the same on this side. And then the last one looks like trebuchets, smaller ladders. That's a lot of weaponry to bust down walls with. Next up, we've got the Trees and Rocks set. It's literally just trees and rocks that you can lay out. A lot of the times when you see these out, like the flat trees, you can for sure lay them out flat. But if you want to give your players some sense of depth to the board, you can put risers underneath them of your choice, your make, whatever, to make the trees seem like they're up higher than the rest of the stuff in the environment. You don't have to, but you can. Good trick to get them out of the package is to bend them like this and just pull. It's much easier. Now, this is legitimately just a set with trees and rocks, just to fill out the environment. So don't expect too much weird differentiation in here. This set has numbered pages, but a lot of them don't. You got fall trees, you got winter trees, and then these are just regular trees. Again, fall, winter. So you can really set the mood of your setting, your current map with these, because you can be like, oh, it's spring or summer, these trees are fine. Or, oh, now it's fall, oh, it's winter, winter is coming. This is just a lot of trees and rocks. Way more trees than rocks. I guess supposedly you could potentially also use the wintry trees as rocks and say that like they've got moss on them. No one's going to stop you. Again, stuff that you throw on the map doesn't necessarily even have to look like what you want it to be. Just make sure you describe to your characters what's happening. For the final tabletop token set that I've got to show you today, this is the Town Market set, which I think will have the most variety of anything we've looked through today. Yeah, once I did the fold them in trick, much easier to work with. So what do we got in the Town Market set? We have a huge smattering of guards and a huge smattering of townfolk. If you just need like a big throng of townsfolk around, boom, right here. And most of these designs are ones that I actually have separately, so I can separate them from the crowd if I wanted to. And then obviously your weapon shop, a little tent you can go into to do business. These guys are different on both sides, so you can have totally different kinds of town guards, different groups, whatever fits your mood. This is more what I expect to see with tabletop tokens, where they're slightly different on both sides. Same idea, but like you can easily set the mood differently because of what's on them. Another tent, another set of guards or cultists, whatever you want them to be. Nice little produce stand, another produce stand, and some. You could set things on fire if you wanted to. These don't have the marking of the bases for Geek Tank Games minis, but I'm sure you could slot this into one of your bases and just literally have a fire raging. Or you can put it on top of one of the other things to say that they're on fire. That works too. Then you got, I don't think those are town guards anymore. I think they might be cultists. And then some cows, nice little stocks, horses, a horse drawing a carriage, some barricades if you don't have any in your campaign already. And then on the other side, it's same creatures but different colored. Barricades basically stay the same. And then different colored cultists depending on what you are running into in your campaign. Ooh, finally some sheep. Got some. Now you have some corner walls to put so you can sort of pen your players in. A really big produce stand, another group of townsfolk, and some sheep. Plus this little horse up here, which I'm sure is going to be, yeah, different colors over here. Now it's Baba Black Sheep. A throng that's very close to the first set, but it does have some different colors in it. Same idea, just backwards. And then the final page in here has a well, another horse-drawn carriage, and the gate, like the town gate. That will probably end up being very useful to me in the future. And the same things, just in different colors. So those are all the tabletop tokens I've got. When you pop out tabletop tokens, chances are you're not putting them back into the paper they came in. So instead, what you do is you get some of Geek Tank Games mini storage sheets. You also notice, I forgot to say at the beginning, that a lot of the art, though there are different artists that work on Geek Tank Games mini stuff, a lot of this art specifically is from Printable Heroes. You may know Printable Heroes from Papercraft, but also uses the artwork for these minis. You get the binder sheets in sets of 10. So there's 10 sheets, but there are 4 for small creatures, which realistically is going to be your small and medium creatures. 4 medium and large, which if you're using D&D terms is probably actually large and huge. And then 2 sheets are just for gargantuan. All of the sheets are double-sided, so you get twice the storage space within them. So like this is what they would consider small, and there are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 slots on one side, and then there's another 20 slots on the other side. And the cool thing is the top row people have a little lip of plastic over here, so they won't slide out. And that is true for these guys, but the other sheets have lips. The small sheets don't have lips on the lower rungs or lower rows. They only have it at the top. But the medium and large sheets have them on each and every slot. So you get 4 pages of this on the medium and large. These are also double-sided. You get each side has 3 slots for the medium creatures, or really going to end up being large creatures. And then the huge ones, there's 2, but they're double-sided. All of these have that little plastic lip, so your minis won't fall out if you accidentally turn your binder upside down or something like that. And they're double-sided, so you're going to get 6 of these size slots and 4 of these size slots. You get 4 pages of this. Finally, you get these guys. These are gargantuan. It's a whole page. You get 2 because it's double-sided, and there's a lip up at the top. Yeah. Weird, I know. I'm switching the camera angle up. Yesterday was very eventful. I'm just going to leave it at that. I spent some time putting all my guys back in. These are my original binders for everything that I've got for Geek Tank Games, so you can separate them any way you want, but I put the small sheets in their own binder, and they have dividers, and this is really hard to do backwards, but all my small guys are in here, and then all the other dudes get put in a different binder. This is the binder for the big boys, so there's tons of here, and I start them with the environment, and then I move on to monsters. You can arrange them however you want. It's up to you. They're going to be your minis, your tokens to work with. If you liked what you saw, leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, sub, and I will see you players of all classes later in the next one. If you would like to, and you are able to, I'm not going to force anyone to do this ever, but you can become a YouTube member and get some sweet perks like early access to videos and access to my homebrew repository and D&D BGM list if you're of certain tiers. All tiers get early access to videos because I like to release things a bit before they're ready so that I can stay on schedule. I am currently not on schedule, and it is freaking me out, though. I'm less than a week ahead, which is probably the furthest behind I've been in literal years, and I'm freaking out about it. But doing so helps support me, gets you guys more videos, and lets me grab more things so I can show them off to you, and you can decide if they warrant a purchase from you